Because we say, Inna lillah. We belong to Allah. Forget my hand or my eye or my clothes or my money or my health or my car. I belong to Allah. It's a completely different attitude. I didn't pay for my hands. I didn't pay for my eyes. You have the exact opposite concept with non-Muslims. They'll say, if there's a God, how come there's cancer? How come this kid is born with one eye? How come there's this? How come there's that? And we say, you know what? You people need to understand. He is Rabb. He doesn't owe you anything. You didn't sign any contract that says 5 fingers on the left and 5 fingers on the right, and they should be equal size. You didn't earn any of this. He gave it to you. He gave it. He didn't give it to you. It wasn't yours to begin with. To say this is my hand, the Muslim doesn't say this is my hand. We say it temporarily, but who does it belong to? You know why this belongs to Allah? Because we say, Inna lillah. We belong to Allah. Forget my hand or my eye or my clothes or my money or my health or my car. I belong to Allah. It's a completely different attitude. If you believe in a God, but then you say there's injustice on the earth, there's tyranny on the earth, how can this God let this happen? Right? How do you fix that? How do you fix that belief? That, what kind of God do I believe in that lets all of these horrible things happen? You must know, number one, that His seizing is what? Intense. Don't think He's not going to seize. Don't think He's not going to bring back. إِنَّهُ هُوَ يُبْدِئُ وَيُعِيدُ. And those who are being oppressed, maybe this is a means by which they will be forgiven. وَهُوَ الْغَفُورُ. Maybe their oppression was a ticket to their paradise. Even sickness is forgiveness for us. The believer who came to belief in Allah recognized that this Lord of mine has done me a lot of good, and I haven't done anything in return. The least I should do is believe in Him and acknowledge His authority. This is the least gratitude I can show. I appreciate all the things He's done for me. I appreciate the fact that He even gave me the privilege to say La ilaha illallah. What other choice do I have but to accept His authority? The Hamid is the driving force, the source code of appreciating Allah's izzah, Allah's authority. That out of hamd of Allah we accept His authority. Before Allah talks about His authority as Rabbil Alameen, Rabb is His authority. Even in the Fatiha, what did He mention first? He didn't begin the Fatiha with Rabbul Alameen. What did He begin it with? Alhamdulillah, hamd first. You acknowledge the praise of Allah. You acknowledge a Lord that's given you limbs. The real problem in Iman is not believing in a God that created the universe or created the heavens and the earth and is merciful and powerful. Most people have no problem believing that. You know where the problem starts? When you give God sovereignty. When you say He has the authority, He has complete control, and He is the only one rightful of that control. So His authority comes from His sovereignty. Does He have authority? Because He has the mulk. He owns it. I have authority over this bag because it belongs to who? It's mine. That's why I have authority over it. Allah owns all of this, so He has authority over it. So at the root of all of this is Allah's milkiyah, His ownership. The sky was a witness. The sky was a witness. Then the criminals who were committing the crime were shuhud. They were shuhud. We learned the angels are a witness too. But finally, eventually, who's the ultimate witness? Allah Himself. Wallahu ala kulli shay'in shaheed. He is shahid. He is shaheed. And everything that has happened is mashhud. Why do we get Jannah? The mercy of Allah. It's not fa. The punishment is a result of the crime. But the rewards are not simply a result of our good deeds. Allah has to give a lot of rahmah, change our sayyi'at into hasanat, cover our sins. He does so much more for us. So if it was fa, it would be what you earned. I did exactly enough to earn Jannah. Nobody does enough to earn Jannah. On top of Allah taking one good deed, multiplying it by 10, multiplying one infaq, 1 penny by 700, right? He multiplies all of our good deeds, one jama'ah prayer by 27. Everything is multiplied. Even then it's not enough. Even then it's not enough. So Allah does not put a fa there because we don't earn the paradise. It's a gift from Allah. It's a mercy from Allah. Fa is what you deserved, what you earned as a consequence. So no doubt those who believed and worked righteous deeds, only they have jannat, gardens. The thing you should note, Jannatun tajri min tahtiha al-anhar comes up over and over and over and over again in the Quran. Allah mentions about, and you read the translation, gardens underneath which rivers flow. You've read this translation before, right? Gardens underneath which rivers flow. But there's so much more going on here. First of all, Jannat is the plural of Jannah. Jannat is the plural of Jannah. Jannah means a lush garden. A garden in which you don't see dirt, you only see green. Everywhere you see, like a bed of flowers, right? You don't see a patch of dirt anywhere. It's completely covered. Jannah comes from the same root as the word janeen. The womb is covered. Jinn, which is veiled, the jinn is veiled from our eyes, that which is covered, right? So Jannah, it's covered completely in beauty, in lush garden. And you don't own one property, you own multiple properties. Now, human beings, people live in America, Indonesia, Australia, Africa, all over the world. An average person with a small salary, they work their entire life. What do they want in the end? What are they saving money for? You ask anyone in the world, any religion, doesn't matter where they come from. What do they want? A home. And everybody who likes a home, whether you want to buy it or not, when you drive by a house that has a really nice front yard, and a big backyard, and a property, and beautiful trees covering and shade, you slow the car down and you say, wow, that is nice. Home and Garden magazine, right? Take care of your yard. That's it's not just the American dream, it's the human dream. Allah gives us what we really, really, really want. And the young people, they say, I don't want a yard, man, I want to get an apartment, right? When they turn 40, 50, guess what they want? They want a yard too. Even people living in Midtown Manhattan hang little orchards and flowers from their windows on the 40th floor. Because there's this desire to see garden, there's this desire to see green. Allah is giving us what we want. Then on top of that, what you want is a waterside view. You look out your window, you should see waterfront property. Those are the most expensive properties, when you have water view. And the ultimately most expensive property, imagine you look outside your window and there's a waterfall. Wouldn't that be the most amazing? Okay, we're buying this place, right? Because that's what we see outside. Rich people, what they do is they simulate it, right? So what they do is they get a pool and they get the sprinkler thing so it looks like a waterfall. Because there's this human desire to see water flowing. Allah didn't just say anhar, tahtiha al-anhar, not just rivers. Tajri min tahtiha. Rivers are flowing. They're flowing. And the min here, min illustrates origin. So you imagine this house on a hill. And all around it are gardens, right? Every side, all of it is backyard. There's no front yard. All of it is your garden. And at the bottom of this hill is what? A river flowing. But the river's not just flowing, it's starting from there. Min tahtiha. From the bottom of these gardens is the beginning of the waterfall in the garden. Can you even imagine this scene? You see something like that in like a resort or like some exotic place people go for vacation, like some places in Colorado or things like that. They say, wow, that is gorgeous. That's beautiful. Min tahtiha al-anhar. And Allah here did not mention the nature of the water. This is part of the subtlety of the Quran. In Surah At-Tawbah, Allah says, Jannatun tajri tahtaha al-anhar. Tahtaha? No min. There's no min. And then you find in Surah Muhammad, wa anharum min ma'in wa lam yaqul tajri, right? And there are rivers full of water. But there he said, ghayri asin, that don't go stale. Water that doesn't go stale. So how come Allah did not mention going stale here? When water flows, is there even a concern for going stale? No. But there in Surah Muhammad, Allah did not mention water flowing. He just said, rivers full of water. But He didn't mention flow. So He added, they don't go stale. SubhanAllah. Subtlety in language. When something needs to be said, it's said. When something doesn't need to be said, it's not said. SubhanAllah. So here we find, tajri min tahtiha al-anhar. Anhar also multiple rivers. So it's not one waterfall turning into a river, it is multiple. It's multiple. Have you ever seen a scene where there's multiple waterfalls? Water gushing from different sides? It's just an incredible thing to see. Your eyes get caught. You lose track of everything else that's going on. You just stare at that. People do this, like the Japanese culture, right? They make these little gardens in their backyards and water flowing, simulate waterfalls. Human nature. This is part of human nature. So Allah gives us what we really want. And at the end of all of this, He says, ذَلِكَ الْفَوْزُ الْكَبِيرُ. That, in fact, is the ultimate or the great success. In the Quran, when fawz is used, it's used with three adjectives. Al-fawz al-azim, great success. Al-fawz al-mubin, clear success. Al-fawz al-kabir, huge success. This is huge success over here. Of the three, the greatest one is al-fawz al-azim. Great success, wherever that's mentioned, more about Jannah is told. Khalidina fiha abada, radiyallahu anhum wa radu anhu. Right? They will live in it forever. Is that mentioned here? No. Then Allah will be pleased with them and they are pleased with Allah. That's not mentioned here. When the additional things besides the gardens are mentioned, al-fawzul azim, a great success. When a little bit less is mentioned, like here, al-fawzul kabir, still huge success. But then when the least is mentioned, man yusraf anhu yawma idin, the guy who got turned away from hellfire, the guy who earned Allah's mercy. Allah didn't even say what mercy, no Jannah, no house, no nothing. He just said he got mercy from Allah. There he says al-fawz al-mubin. At least even that's clearly success. Even that's clear success. So there are degrees of success. This is the second degree. The degree above this is when Allah mentions they will dwell in it forever. Allah will be pleased with them. He adds more, or He gives us more graphic detail, depicting detail of His benefit, favors to the believers. This, by the way, complements what we saw at the end of the previous surah. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ لَهُمْ أَجْرٌ غَيْرُ مَمْنُونَ. In the previous surah, we found the believers who believe and do righteous deeds, they have rewards without any discontinuity. They will have an endless reward, a continuous reward.